When a biathlete arrives to the range every day, the first thing they do is they sight in their rifle for the day's conditions. Biathlon rifles are extremely fine-tuned instruments, and the slightest change in the day's conditions can be the difference between a perfect 10-ring shot and an 8-ring miss. Therefore, at the beginning of every race and training session, an athlete will sight in their rifles or zero their rifles for the day's condition. So this is going to be a two-part video. Today's video, we're going to talk about zeroing your rifles or sighting them in for the day's condition. And in my next video, we're going to talk about wind and sight corrections during the race or during training. Before I just go right into shooting live fire, I like to do a couple shots of dry fire. Like any athletic competition, you don't just dive right in and you don't just go all out right from the very beginning. You're going to hurt yourself. Kind of the same thing as shooting. And no, you're probably not likely to strain something while shooting if you just go straight to live fire. Now, usually what I do is I'll do 15 shots of dry fire standing, 15 shots of dry fire prone, and then I'll move on to live shooting. Now, what I'm thinking about during those 15 shots, well, the first 5 are very specific, very focused. I'll take one aspect of the shooting process, usually something like trigger or sight alignment. I'll just try to do 5 shots solely focusing on those key aspects of the process. If I thought about sight alignment in the first 5, I'll think about trigger squeeze in the next 5, and then in the last 5, I'll think about just trying to get an all-around really good hit and execute good shots. Then I'll do the same thing in prone. If you have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to shooting, then you might want to check this video right here because I've explained everything in a previous Biathlon University video. After taking those 30 shots of dry fire, I'll finally load up and take 5 shots standing on a paper target. The reason for starting with standing is just like dry fire, I like to get a few shots under my belt before I actually start shooting prone for accuracy. Now, when I'm shooting standing, the thing that I'm really focusing on is stability and foundation. I really like to make sure that I have really good setup when shooting standing. Okay, so after standing shooting, I finally get down into prone position and I shoot 1 magazine or 5 shots at a single target. I really try to make these shots as high quality as I possibly can. If you need some tips on shooting accuracy, check the video up here in the top right corner of the screen. After taking these shots, I'll then turn around and get a correction from my coach. However, if you don't have a coach, and I know a lot of athletes in the US will zero themselves before a race, we're going to talk about how to read a target and how to make corrections right now. When looking at a target, the first thing you need to understand is the difference between precision and accuracy. And guess what? I've already made a video about that, so check that video right here. Every shooter's goal should be good precision, but in this instance, we're actually looking at accuracy. In other words, how far is your group of shots from the center of the target? And what do we need to do to get good accuracy in this instance? So just like in science class, we only want to adjust one variable at a time. And in this case, it's going to be the sights. We're not going to adjust our position. We're not going to adjust where we're shooting. We're still going to aim for the center of the target, but we're going to make slight corrections on our sights in order to move our accuracy towards the center. In marksmanship shooting, this is what is known as zeroing the rifles, and in biathlon, we call it taking clicks, because when you adjust the knob on the top of your sights, it makes a little click noise. So how many clicks do you need to become accurate? The general rule of thumb is 1 click equals 1 bullet's width. So if you have a nice group at the edge of the prone ring, it usually takes about 4 to 5 clicks in order to get you to the center. Again, these rifles are extremely fine-tuned machines, and the slightest variability in weather conditions can adjust your accuracy. So don't be frustrated with poor accuracy. By adjusting the sights, we can get you to the center. Once you have a good idea of how many clicks you need to take, you will need to adjust your sights. To adjust your accuracy up and down, use the knobs on the top of your sights. For on-shoots rifles, clockwise is down and counterclockwise is up. For Ishmash rifles, it's the exact opposite. To adjust your accuracy horizontally, on-shoots uses the side knobs clockwise to move left and counterclockwise to move right. Again, Ishmash users are the opposite. Go clockwise to move right and counterclockwise to move left. Remembering which directions move the sights is probably the hardest part about zeroing. So many times I've seen athletes accidentally take clicks in the wrong direction and their group just gets further away from the center. So I know a lot of athletes that will write like a little R or a little L or up or down somewhere on their rifle just to give them that reminder when taking corrections. So after taking these initial clicks, I will get back into position and I will do the exact same thing that I did before. I will take 5 shots on that exact same target. The only difference now should be that my sights have been corrected, and when I go back and look through the scope again, I should see the exact same group, but now just in a different location, ideally closer to the center. After this second magazine of prone, if I need to, I'll take a few more corrections. Really only 1 or 2 more clicks should do it, and then I will go ski. This is what's known as your confirmation lap. You go ski, get a little bit of a heart rate. I like to ski for approximately 3 to 5 minutes. I'll then get back into position, and now on the upper target or whatever target is level with the metal targets, I'll take 5 shots with a little bit higher of a heart rate. And really the only difference I should see here is my group should have opened up a little bit as opposed to moving anywhere. If you come in with a heart rate and your group drastically moves to a different location, that means your setup or your phase 1 was off in that shooting. And I would recommend actually going and confirming again. So again, the full zeroing process consists of 15 shots dry fire prone, 15 shots dry fire standing, 5 shots standing, 5 shots prone correction, 5 shots prone correction again, confirmation lap, 5 shots prone with a little bit of a heart rate, and you should be good to go. On the World Cup, athletes can do this in approximately 10 minutes, 7 minutes, even 5 minutes, do this whole process, because when you have a big team and you're all sharing one shooting mat, you really need to be economical with your time. I have a Biathlon University fun fact for you, but before I share that, hit that subscribe button down below if you want to be kept up to date on all the biathlon content coming out of this channel. In my next video, I'm going to talk about sunlight and wind during a race. Say you zeroed and there was absolutely no wind on the shooting range, and then during the race you come in and it's howling to the left. How do you know how many clicks to take and what to do? Hit that subscribe button because that video is coming out next. Okay, so fun fact. Where does the term zero even come from? After sighting in the rifles, athletes would adjust the knobs on their sights to 0, so that way during the race, if they had to take clicks, they would know how far from 0 they took clicks. This practice has become less and less common over the years as most athletes will just remember how many clicks they took, but obviously the term zeroing has stuck around.